So this young woman here is holding a piglet that has been pulled out of a farrowing crate, which is kind of like a torturous cage that mother pigs are made to stay in around 5 weeks at a time whilst they farrow their piglets. It causes terrible mental anguish for the mother. They can be seen biting the cages. And as the cycles of pregnancy go on, you see the mothers begin to kind of give up hope. It's a terrible contraption, really inhumane. And this young woman here is obviously working in the pig industry. I don't know if this is her father's farm or she's just working on the farm. But the fact that she's showing what looks like compassion to this piglet, whether for the camera or not, in such a sadistic setting, it really highlights the kind of disconnect these farmers have from reality, the delusion they have. You cannot care for these piglets whilst you're raising them to send them to a gas chamber to suffer to death in CO2 gas. You cannot care for these piglets, right, whilst you're raising them to be slaughtered for bacon. You cannot show compassion to these animals while you're enslaving their mother about 3 foot behind you. How is that compassion? I mean, if this woman truly wanted to show compassion to these animals, she would start a sanctuary. She would abolish this horrible hellhole factory farm behind her or have nothing to do with it and advocate against these hellholes and show true compassion. Take this piglet to a rescue facility where they can actually live out their lives in peace and not have to face the disgusting feces-ridden cold floor of that prison cell and liberate their mothers and take them to sanctuary and advocate people go vegan and go vegan yourself and stop eating these beings. That's how you show true compassion and justice and empathy to these animals, not by cuddling and kissing a cute little piglet on camera. And then what happens then? Whoever comes through, who owns the farm, and grabs the runts by the legs and smashes their skull against the concrete to kill them. Don't think we don't know what's going on at this farm, all right? And I bet you literally anything, my life on it, that if I left secret cameras in this farm, we'd find horrific torture and abuse like we do on every single factory farm we investigate. And the slaughterhouse these piglets go to, I bet you they scream and suffer in their own feces while they beg for mercy to get decapitated and sliced up for bacon. So don't dare show this piglet compassion when you're involved with their literal slaughter.
Baby steaks, do 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 do, baby steaks, do do do.
So here this woman, she's one of those farmers that really care about their animals here, just showing pure, utter respect for these animals, you know, how much she cares about them, putting a audio behind a video of these cows here that she's exploiting, calling them baby steaks, just highlighting here how little regard these people who raise and kill animals to eat their flesh actually have for the animals they're exploiting. One of the psychological mechanisms that has to happen in order for you to raise, exploit, and slaughter and eat a sentient being is contempt and the devaluing of that being. You have to be able to devalue that animal in your mind to a product, a resource, a mindless, piece of flesh, a bag of potatoes, in order to emotionally be able to raise and slaughter them and then go on to eat their body parts. So this woman here and all other farmers who claim, oh, I care about my animals, nonsense you do. Nonsense you do. You cannot legitimately care about beings you are raising and then sending to a horrific, horrible, nightmarish place called a slaughterhouse in order for you to profit off of them. Literally impossible. Impossible in every way. You cannot care for them. You tell people you care about them so you can have a good PR image, so that you're virtue signaling to your customers, to people who buy animal products. Look, we care about them because people like us are constantly criticizing you for the animal abusers you are, because you're lying to the public about what's really taking place. You're constantly lying to the public. You won't share what's going down in the slaughterhouse to the public, will you? Because then they'll see what lying, animal abusing scum you really are. Now this woman here, these are baby animals, completely innocent and vulnerable, and she's a predator to them. She's literally a predator to them, and she's making fun of it on social media where people are laughing and carrying on, ha 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 ha. It's always pretty funny from the oppressor's position, but I wonder how funny you would think if you were in their position, walking down the kill line of a slaughterhouse with your herd members or family members strung up by their ankle, disemboweled, while you're next in line. How funny will it be then? How differently would things be from that angle?
Yeah,
oh God.
They don't do well transporting, period.
Yeah.
So when it's over,
Look at the kids there watching.
I mean,
Look at the little girls, man.
cows do No electric fencing, just a big paddock.
Oh my God, dude.
They chilled out.
He's hacking and snapping the cow's ankle off. Gives it to his son. Wow, just literally gives a body part to his son, teaching them to hack up animals. Look at the girls on the truck there just watching. Look at him, disturbed. Look at this one at the top there, disturbed face. Wow, he's literally limited all the comments on his post. And the only comment that you can see is, I just don't think the children should see that. You can say that if you're a vegan parent and you don't feed your children the body parts of these animals. He's taking the more honest route, the more almost psychopathic route. I mean, I don't really have another descriptive word for this. He's literally, decapitating, chopping up, dismembering a murdered animal in front of his children and handing body parts to them. I mean, if this were a human being, we'd literally call him a psychopath, but through cultural conditioning, we just say he's a homestead farmer who's providing meat for his family. I mean, I don't even think meat eaters can stomach this kind of blatant, brutal behavior in front of children, just conditioning these poor children to a level of violence they could never even imagine themselves. Like this cow was probably their friend, likely their friend. He has multiple videos on his channel where he's just anchoring up lifeless corpses that he's dismembered in front of his family. Completely needless. Here he's hacksawing a cow in half with their stomach hanging out of the carcass right next to what looks like a 3-year-old girl. And people call vegans weird. Like, come on, what are you teaching these children? These children are gonna grow up so confused with a battle going on. Like, I care about animals, it's okay to hack them up and eat them. I care about dogs, but cows, we have to kill them even though they're like dogs in every way that matters morally. Like, you're creating the next generation of, animal abusers that feel guilty for consuming meat whilst they're patting their dog. Like, this is a surefire way to psychologically disturb children growing up. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these girls turn into like the next animal rights activists, the next vegans because of what they've witnessed when they were young. You could also be just traumatizing them. I've heard many stories of people not wanting to eat a certain animal because their father or grandfather killed that animal in front of them. Human beings, especially children, are empathic beings. Children have not been conditioned by society. They have not been told the lies of society and have not been told it's okay to kill this animal and love this animal. They just see animals as their friends, all animals. So when you slaughter a beautiful cow in front of your children, you're really traumatizing them. Like, they probably love that cow and they probably had a name for that cow. And here you are dismembering this poor animal in front of your children, handing body parts to them, forcing them to do something they literally every fiber of their being is likely against, and causing nightmares for them. You could just feed them some potatoes. How about that? How about some beans and potatoes and rice and, pasta, vegetables and fruits? Why hack up one of their friends and feed it to them? Why? It's so needless. If you think this is needless and kind of psychopathic too, please, look, you pay for the same thing or worse when you go to the store and you buy dead animals from the supermarket. So please have a consistent position. If you're going to criticize this man here, first of all, get your house in order.
Sheep are the best livestock animal. Here's why. They're a tri-purpose animal. That means they produce meat, milk, and wool all in one animal. They're small, so they require minimal infrastructure and equipment to handle. I can pick up a sheep. I can't pick up even a quarter of a cow.
Oh,
they
wow.
have a faster turnaround than larger livestock. Their gestation is only 5 months, and lambs are ready for slaughter as early as 6 months. They typically
You can kill them young.
So
That's
for each
great.
You get twice the amount of offspring as you would from a cow. You can start with a
so
tiny starter
more
farm.
profitable.
Before you know it, you're going to be swimming in sheep. They don't need shelter like other livestock. Their wool is a giant shelter.
Oh, so you
on
just
their backs.
leave them in the
They've got
cold.
them covered. All livestock have their place, but sheep are our favorite.
So he calls them livestock. They're not stock. They're living sentient beings. And every single reason she values these animals is for economic value and everything they can provide for her disturbing goals of exploitation. So she only looks at them as money bags that she can impregnate, breed, raise, and slaughter at 6 months old. Don't let these farmers fool you. They're literally just glorified animal killers. They don't care about these animals. They care about making profit off of their slaughter. Okay, so he's performing teeth clipping, and he's also delivering vaccines, antibiotics maybe. This is common practice. Is he snipping the the piglet's tail off. He's put different audio on this, like some kind of comical, disturbing audio, but the piglet is clearly screaming, being tormented. This is a torturous moment for these piglets. This is a common practice, actually. This still takes place in the UK. This takes place across the pork industry, actually, across the world. Someone says, wow, what is wrong with you? Well, they actually do this in the pork industry across the world. They do similar things in similar kinds of mutilations in all other industries nearly. Someone says, that's Asians for you. Well, do you realize that you're just a flat out racist? That's not just Asians, actually. That's all human beings who exploit animals for food are committing similar acts. And I don't know where this woman is from. They likely do this exact same thing where you're from as well. And you pay for it. You pay for it. Report, don't give him any money, commenting and buy clicks. Eva, don't give him any money. That's exactly what veganism is. It's living a lifestyle that respects the rights of sentient animals, okay? So you choose not to buy into industries that violate the rights of animals, okay? And you've taken, it's kind of like a personal protest against funding industries that torture and kill animals or exploit them and violate their rights, or they don't have to torture them in order to violate their rights. So don't give him money. That's exactly what veganism is. So you must ideologically be a vegan at this point, right? Instead of virtue signaling for animal ethics as a way to deploy your hidden racism, why not just recognize that, actually, if I look down at my plate, I'm paying for and supporting the exact same thing, or even worse, every single day when I engage in the purchase of animal products. No matter where you are in the world, there are no exceptions to this either. Don't say, oh, I'm from Sweden, or I'm from Austria, or I'm from Australia, or I'm from fill in the blank. It happens everywhere there is mass exploitation of animals, okay? Don't be a hypocrite and live vegan.